What if I told you that love is the single most powerful force that can rewire not only your heart, but your brain, your body, and even your destiny? Think about it. One moment you're living your life, and then someone walks in, or even the memory of someone touches you, and suddenly, everything feels different. Your heartbeat changes, your thoughts race. The world looks brighter. It feels like magic, but it's not. It's science. Love is not just poetry written in old books or lyrics sung in songs. Love is electricity running through your brain. It's chemistry shaping your choices. It's biology transforming your body. Every time you fall in love, every time you feel truly connected to someone, your brain literally rewires itself. And once that happens, you are never the same person again. Scientists have discovered that love releases a surge of dopamine, the chemical of motivation and joy. That's why being in love feels like the universe has handed you a permanent sunrise. You're more alive, more energized, more fearless. Love wakes up parts of your brain that sleep when you're alone, which is why you suddenly feel like you can do things you once thought were impossible. But dopamine is only the beginning. Love also floods your system with oxytocin, the bonding hormone. This is the same powerful chemical that ties a newborn baby to its mother, the same force that ensures survival from the very first breath of life. That's why a hug, a touch, or even a simple "I am here" from the right person has the ability to calm storms inside you that nothing else can. It's not weakness, it's wiring. Your brain is telling you, you are safe, you are seen, you are home. And here, S-word gets even more fascinating. Love doesn't just transform your emotions. It transforms your health. Stress hormones like cortisol drop when you are loved. Your blood pressure lowers, your immune system strengthens, your body begins to repair itself more effectively. People who feel supported and loved don't just survive longer, they live healthier, more vibrant lives. In the truest sense, love is medicine that no doctor can prescribe. But love is more than chemicals and biology. Love transforms the way you see yourself. When someone accepts you fully, when they look at you and say, "You're enough," something shifts inside you. You no longer need to hide behind masks. You stop apologizing for existing. Love gives you the courage to be vulnerable, to reveal the parts of yourself you once thought were unworthy. And in doing so, you step into your most authentic, most powerful self. Of course, love isn't always gentle. Sometimes, it's demanding. It reveals your insecurities, your flaws, the shadows you'd rather keep hidden, but that's where its magic lies. Because love doesn't expose your weaknesses to break you. It exposes them so you can grow. Love pushes you beyond your limits, forces you to evolve, to become stronger, kinder, more compassionate. And yes, love can hurt. Heartbreak is proof of just how deep those roots go. When love is lost, your brain reacts as if your body is physically injured. That's why your chest feels heavy, why your stomach twists, why sleep feels impossible. But here's the hope. Just as the brain can be rewired by love, it can be rewired by healing. Slowly, new neural pathways form. The pain turns into memory. The memory turns into wisdom, and that wisdom becomes fuel. Fuel to love better, to live stronger, and to never give up on connection. So what is love, really? It's not just a feeling. It's a transformation. It's the fire that burns away fear, the light that rewires your brain, and the medicine that heals your heart. Love is the invisible architect of who you become. It doesn't just change the way you feel in the moment. It changes the way you live forever. If love has the power to rewire your brain and body, imagine what it does to the way you live your life. The truth is, love doesn't just change how you feel in a moment, it changes the very direction of your destiny. Think back on the biggest choices you've made: moving to a new city, pursuing a dream, forgiving someone, or even walking away from something that no longer served you. Behind so many of these decisions was love. Love for a person, love for yourself, or love for a purpose larger than you. Neuroscience shows us that love activates the brain's motivational circuits, the same regions that drive you to chase goals and push past obstacles. That's why when you love someone, or something deeply, you'll endure struggles that logic alone would tell you to avoid. It's why parents sacrifice everything for their children. It's why artists pour themselves into their work. It's why friendships that run deep can feel like lifelines. Love is the spark that pushes human beings beyond survival into something greater, meaning. But here's something most people miss. Love isn't only about romance. Yes, romantic love feels like fireworks. But science tells us that the brain responds just as powerfully to friendships, family bonds, even the love we feel for pets. That's why a single conversation with a trusted friend, or the way your dog greets you at the door, can lift your entire spirit. The brain doesn't care where love comes from, it only recognizes connection. And connection, no matter the form, rewires you toward healing. Love also reshapes your memory. When you love, your hippocampus, the memory center of the brain, becomes more active. That's why you remember tiny details about the people who matter most. The way they laughed, the way they looked at you, the exact moment they made you feel safe. These aren't just random memories, they're anchors. They become evidence that joy is possible, that kindness is real, and that life is worth living. Even years later, those memories can guide you through storms, reminding you that connection once gave you strength and will do so again. And then there's fear, The amygdala, the part of your brain that processes threats, often keeps you locked in cycles of anxiety and doubt. But when love enters the equation, oxytocin and dopamine calm that region down. Love doesn't erase fear, it transforms it. Suddenly, the things that used to terrify you don't hold the same power. Vulnerability becomes less frightening. Risks become worth taking. That's why people in love often feel braver, more adventurous, more alive. It's not delusion, it's biology turning fear into courage. This courage spills into every corner of life. A child raised in a loving environment develops stronger confidence and emotional intelligence. Adults in supportive relationships often perform better in their careers, take healthier risks, and handle stress with resilience. Even creativity thrives in the presence of love. When the brain feels secure, it's free to imagine, to innovate, to dream without limits. Some of the world's most timeless works of art and literature were born from love. And yes, sometimes even from the pain of losing it. But let's be honest, love isn't always easy. Sometimes, it stretches you in ways you never expected. It challenges your patience, your empathy, your willingness to put someone else first. Yet this is where its magic lies. Psychologists call it secure struggle. In the right environment, love doesn't break you during conflict, it builds you. Every argument that ends in understanding, every challenge that ends in compromise, rewires your brain to handle emotions with balance instead of chaos. Love teaches regulation, it trains resilience. It creates strength out of struggle. And beyond the science, love awakens something deeper, something spiritual. When you love, you don't just connect to another person. You connect to something larger than yourself. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain tied to purpose and compassion, lights up. Love expands your perspective. It whispers that life is not only about survival, not only about you, but about meaning, about giving, about legacy. In this way, love doesn't just change the brain, it transforms the soul. So, what does this mean for you? It means that every time you choose love, whether for a partner, a friend, a passion, or even for yourself, you are not just feeling something, you are sculpting who you are. You are creating a stronger, more courageous, more compassionate version of yourself. Love is not a distraction from life's journey. Love is the journey. If love rewires the brain and the heart, then it also reshapes the story you tell yourself about who you are. Think about it. Before love, you might see yourself as limited, uncertain, or even broken. But the moment you experience genuine love, it's as if a mirror is placed before you, one that reflects not just your flaws, but your beauty, your strength, your worth. This is the hidden magic of love. It transforms yourself. When someone truly loves you, their presence alone becomes proof that you are worth loving, and that changes everything. Suddenly, the doubts that whispered you're not enough don't sound as convincing anymore. Love quiets the noise of insecurity and amplifies the voice of self-belief. Over time, those inner shifts aren't just emotional, they're biological. Neuroscience shows that affirmation and support from loved ones actually strengthen neural pathways tied to confidence and self-esteem. Love literally trains your brain to believe in your own value. But it goes deeper than that. Love teaches you how to be vulnerable, and vulnerability is the birthplace of growth. Most of us spend years hiding behind masks, afraid to let others see our weaknesses, but love invites you to take off the mask. It creates a safe space where imperfection isn't punished, but embraced. In that space, you realize that you don't have to be perfect to be worthy. And once you taste that freedom, you carry it into every corner of your life. You start showing up authentically, with your dreams, your scars, your hopes, and your fears. That authenticity is what allows you to grow. At the same time, love expands your empathy. When you care deeply for someone, you begin to see the world through their eyes. Their struggles become your concern. Their joy becomes your joy. Empathy isn't just a soft, emotional reaction. It rewires the brain's mirror neurons, the systems that allow us to feel what others feel. That's why acts of love and compassion don't just change the receiver, they transform the giver. Every time you empathize, your capacity for connection grows, making you not just a better partner, but a better human being. Of course, not all love stories are smooth. Sometimes, love hurts, sometimes, it leaves you shattered. But here's the paradox. Even in heartbreak, love continues its work. Painful love experiences awaken resilience you didn't know you had. They force you to confront your deepest fears and rebuild yourself stronger. Psychologists call this post-traumatic growth, the way adversity, especially in love, can trigger profound personal transformation. So even when love breaks, it also builds. Heartbreak might scar you, but those scars often become the strongest parts of who you are. And love isn't limited to relationships with others. Perhaps the most powerful transformation happens when you turn love inward, when you practice self-love. For many people, this is the hardest kind of love to give. But once you begin, everything shifts. Your brain releases the same oxytocin and dopamine that relationships trigger, but this time, the source is you. Self-love builds resilience against rejection, fuels motivation, and protects mental health. It teaches you to stop waiting for external validation and instead recognize your own worth. And when you love yourself, you attract healthier love from others. because you no longer accept less than you deserve. The beauty of love, whether it's romantic, platonic, or self-directed, is that it connects all human beings to something larger than themselves. Love creates ripples. The kindness you show a partner spills into how you treat strangers. The empathy you develop for a friend shapes the way you parent, lead, or even interact with the world. In this way, love is never confined to one relationship. It's a force that echoes outward, shaping communities, shaping culture, shaping history. So if love rewires your brain, heals your heart, restores your confidence, and expands your empathy, what's left? Transformation, that's the word. Love doesn't just make life sweeter. It transforms you into someone braver, kinder, more authentic, and more alive. It challenges your limits, exposes your truths, and gives you the courage to grow. And even when it hurts, it teaches lessons that shape your soul. This is why every human being, at some level, craves love. It isn't weakness. It isn't distraction. It's the most powerful force of growth available to us. Love is not just an emotion, it's an evolution. If love is the greatest teacher, then its final lesson is this. It gives your life meaning. Without love, achievements feel empty, victories taste shallow, and even success can feel lonely. But with love, whether it's love for a partner, a dream, a community, or yourself, life gains depth. Every step, every challenge, every moment suddenly matters more because it's connected to something greater than survival. It's connected to purpose. Science confirms this truth. Studies show that people in loving relationships live longer, healthier lives. They have lower stress levels, stronger immune systems, and even reduced risk of heart disease. Why? Because love is the ultimate stress buffer. When you feel connected, your brain releases oxytocin, which counteracts cortisol, the stress hormone. In other words, love doesn't just make you happier. It literally keeps you alive. But love's magic isn't only in health, it's in legacy. Think about the stories that move you most. They're not about possessions or titles. They're about love. Parents sacrificing for their children, partners standing by each other against all odds, friends showing loyalty through storms. These stories matter because they remind us of what's truly valuable. At the end of life, no one wishes they had worked longer hours or bought more things. They wish they had loved deeper, forgiven faster, and connected more. Here's something profound. Love has the power to transform even pain into purpose. The heartbreaks you've endured, the losses that once felt unbearable, they can become the fuel that drives compassion for others. Survivors of heartbreak often become the most powerful healers, teachers, and leaders because their scars remind them how precious love is. This is why love never truly dies. Even when relationships end, it transforms. It becomes wisdom, empathy, and strength. And maybe that's the secret. Love isn't about possession. It's about transformation. When you love someone, you carry a part of them with you forever, not in chains, but in lessons. Even lost love leaves behind gifts. The courage you gained, the patience you learned, the empathy you discovered. Love rewires not only your brain but your very story, ensuring that no experience is wasted. Think about the bravest people you know, the ones who take risks, pursue impossible dreams, or dedicate their lives to serving others. Almost always, they're fueled by love. Love for family, love for humanity, love for an idea greater than themselves. That's the kind of love that reshapes the world. And it starts in the same place it always does, in the heart. In connection, in the willingness to care deeply. So where does this leave you? It leaves you with a choice. Every day you have the opportunity to choose love over fear, connection over isolation, growth over comfort. You have the power to rewire your mind, not through force, but through love. Because love isn't just something you feel, it's something you practice. In kindness, in forgiveness, in courage. Imagine this, a world where more people loved openly, forgave quickly, and showed compassion without hesitation. That world would be safer, brighter, and stronger. But it starts small. It starts with you, with how you love yourself, with how you love the people closest to you, with how you love life, even when it tests you. That love creates ripples, and those ripples change everything. Love, at its core, is not weakness. It is strength. It is not distraction. It is focus. It is not the end of your story. It is the force that writes your story, one chapter at a time. And when the final page turns, love will be the one thing that outlives you. Not money, not possessions, not achievements, but love. So let yourself be rewired. Let love open your heart, strengthen your mind, and give your soul a reason to keep going. Because at the end of it all, love isn't just part of life, love is life.